Hi and welcome. I'm Anna. So today I wanted to talk a little bit more personally. I've been going through a period of a bit of overwhelm. Just everything feels like it's a little much and it gets a bit hard. And I've been going through one of the most painful menstrual cycle I've ever had. I started to think something else was seriously wrong and was very tempted to take myself to hospital with the level of pain I was in. And with that, it's like sort of this hormonal instability, there everything begins to compound and feel so big, and it can bring up all the other struggles that can be going on in life at the same time. So whether we're male or female or however you choose to identify oneself, we all go through periods of overwhelm where everything gets compounded and just becomes too much, especially if we're feeling a bit like we're struggling with survival issues or certain responsibilities. So, what I wanted to get into was this aspect of softening, softening the heart, softening into ourselves in this way. And sometimes I don't necessarily want to talk about opening the heart because sometimes we do need to give ourselves a little bit of safety and security and a little bit of a barrier, like a snuggly blanket or something like that. So, this is a bit more about just to find that sort of safety and softening within oneself than too much opening out into the external world. So, depending on the situation, you may want to move more into an opening or seeing it as softening. This is sort of interchangeable. You can work with this whichever way you like. Okay, so I want to jump straight in. So if you are like, if you're in this space, if it just all feels too hard, it feels like too much, I invite you to join me with this practice of just taking a little bit of time for yourself, even though it might feel like you don't really want to. You don't really want to shift state. You just sort of get so caught up in the emotion, it's really hard to see outside of it. But there is an access point within the hardness to find a little bit of softness so we can create that space for ourselves to feel a little bit more at ease, not and maybe perhaps in control, but or just a little bit more at ease with whatever is occurring for you at the moment. All right, so I just invite you to sit or lie quietly. Prefer not to do this while you're driving, or just don't. And if you like to close your eyes, I invite you to do that. Otherwise, you can keep them open. And just take a moment. You might just need to take a deep sigh as you bring your awareness into your breath. See, I can feel it in my body. This has sort of been in this place through the night because I couldn't sleep because I was in a lot of pain. And then into today, there's still tension and things residing within me and within my body. So that my first spontaneous reaction as I brought my awareness into my breath was I needed to sigh. Just needed to let go because sighing is a way of releasing energy. So just I invite you to just notice as you bring your awareness within, as you bring your awareness to your breath, what spontaneously arises, what needs to be done. Do you need to take a deep breath? Do you need to sigh? Is it a shallow breath? Is it like a little shaking of everything out? Just demonstrating for you. I'm allowing, because I'm in process at the moment as I make this video. I thought I would just share this time of when I'm actually doing what I need with you while I do it. So I can feel and I can sense all that tightness in my shoulders. And as I'm opening the space to give myself this time to be with what is present within my body, which is, our bodies are feeling and sensing everything that's going on. But we sort of create this disconnection between ourselves and our bodies when we're in this overwhelmed and stressed out state, it takes a little bit of practice to tune back into what's going on physically rather than getting carried away with the emotion of the overwhelm, which can cause a little bit of disconnection and disassociation. Okay, so just notice as you tune into your breath, tune into your body, what's happening through your neck, through your head. Is your Are you all tense through the temples? Is your jaw tight? Is the neck tight? The shoulders? And you may be able to release them and relax them a little bit, or it may just be too tight that you can't. The holding, the gripping, because this is especially in the jaw, the hips, the shoulders. This is where we grip, and this is often the resistance of the mind. If you're a meditation practitioner, you'll become aware of the areas that you grip and hold on to. The abdomen is another place where we grip and hold and tighten. So let yourself even just breathe and sigh a little bit if that's what works as you bring this awareness in. See if you can let the gripping go. And if the gripping doesn't let go with ease, that's okay. Just be aware of it because we're just focusing on the softening. So notice as you scan down through the torso, what's happening in the chest, the tightness. Is there tightness? Is this squeezing in? Are you hunching over? Are you collapsing forward? So if you are, just allow yourself just to very slowly ease back into an upright posture. Or if you're lying down, allow yourself to reach out, perhaps if you're sitting, do this too, reaching out with your body, just noticing if you need to roll those shoulders back. And when we open like this, when you reach out, we're stretching all the way across the heart and out along the arms, and we're opening up those meridian and energy channels from the heart that run down the pathway of the arms, so we can actually create a little bit of space and softening just by simply opening our arms up. So you can just notice how that feels. We're also opening up the space to allow a little bit more breath into the lungs as we do that as well. And as you come down into and if you want, stay in that area and just keep working with that. But otherwise, you can come down into your abdomen. Notice if there's that gripping and tightening of the belly. Notice if there's that tightness in the lower back. We all can often carry stress in the lower back. This is often a place where we carry a lot of financial stress as well. So if you've been struggling with the lower back and you're also struggling with financial issues, just notice that there can be a correlation there. So helping to loosen that lower back can also support the shifting of financial issues when we're working with the shifting of the energy. So notice through the hips, another area of gripping and tightening and storing emotion. If you can just release and let any of that go, feeling down your legs. And just see, even notice, just by bringing awareness through your body, do you notice a difference? Can you feel and sense things differently? Also, as we do this, remembering to maintain this practice in a space of loving awareness. We don't want to be judging the way we feel. We don't want to be judging our bodies for how it may be reacting or holding. This is just about opening, and you've got to be your first place of safety and security, your first port of call to speak, to support yourself, because you are the one that lives within your body, and you are the most powerful person for yourself to support you in creating ease and softness and opening. All right. So this is about really softening the heart. So when we're caught up in overwhelm, we are moving into our fears, our stresses, and responses. And so we're shifting out of that heart space. So we want to bring ourselves back into that heart space to soften into our experience of the moment. So I just want you to bring that awareness into the center of the heart space and the center of the chest. And here you can just maybe gently breathe in and out, as though you're breathing through the center of the chest. And I encourage you to breathe through the nose, but you may on the exhale want to exhale through the mouth, because every breath is an opportunity to bring life in. The ancient Greek word for breath and spirit were the same thing, because we're always bringing spirit in through the breath. And you can breathe out through the nose, or you can even breathe out through the mouth, because every exhale is an opportunity to release and let go. We're constantly moving out the waste products of our body out through the breath. So that which is spent, that which is no longer needed, the stress, the fears, the overwhelm, we can simply inhale and bring in the peace, the love, and exhale out those fears, the stresses, the strain. So coming back into that breath awareness in the heart, if you've dropped it. So being aware within this space, within the heart exists our connection to our spirit, to the great spirit, the divine, to source, to God, however you identify with it, whatever your belief systems are. This is the central axis of our being, to deepen our own connection to self and spirit, or the divinity. And you may want to imagine as though there's this tiny little spark in the center of that chest, the center of your being. And this spark is ever and always connected to spirit. And this is the divinity that connects, that is within you, that connects to the greater divine. We are one. We are never separate from it. We may be having an individual experience, but we're never separate from that source, the isness, the wholeness. And as you breathe into that and see that spark, you may see that expanding and growing as you bring your awareness into it. And as it grows, you can imagine that it's like a sun inside the very center of your chest. And like a sun, it has rays, but also emanating from it are tiny little waves and particles that emanate in every direction with this beautiful golden, sparkly. It may contain all the colors of the rainbow, pinks, little greens, little blues. And as the sun glows in the center of your chest, all these little particles and dustings are spreading out from you in every direction, moving through all the cells of your body, moving through your auric field, just giving you some nourishment, some energy, an uplift. You may even feel or sense a little bit of tingling through your limbs as you work with this. And just know, connected to you, this place, the sun, it holds all the love of the world, this beautiful, unconditional, loving space that was always there for you and always holds you. And this love and those tiny little particles, all like glowing dust and glitter floating through your entire body, your being, and your energy field. Sending that love to every aspect of your life, every little cell in your body, through all the layers of your field, dissolving any little issues and thought forms and fears as it goes. And this is just creating as though you are in this big, sparkling bubble that is surrounding you. And as you said this, you're just being held, being held by your own spirit, the great spirit that connects you to source and connects you into your own essence. And I invite you, you can maybe just stay in this place for as long as you like. Or if as you go about your day, just take it with you. And I hope if you've come this far with me, you've enjoyed going through this practice with me. I've enjoyed feel I've enjoyed sharing it and actually going through the experience of doing it when I really felt I needed it. Because I was definitely getting into those states of overwhelm and stress and needed something to shift my energy. And I can feel that shift. I can feel that space. I can feel that sense of being held, which helps me step into my own sense of wholeness and contentment within my own being. I mean, there's still a few little niggly bits of stress here and there, but in general, I can feel a complete shift in the way I've been feeling for most of the day. It probably took me a little bit longer to move into this than I could have done it earlier, but I didn't. So it's all right. Sometimes it takes a little while to remember, and sometimes we need to go through and feel what is coming up. So I also did give myself space to do that. All right. So if you would like to join me one on one, I do energetic healing sessions privately. You can find all the details in the links below. And thank you very much for watching. And please share, like, subscribe. And if you have any comments, either you can put them in the video comment section or send me a message directly or any questions. All right. Love and blessings.